Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. It's been a rough and frustrating year for Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin, and now, it looks like things might get worse before they get better. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the star receiver could be sidelined for multiple weeks, and that phrase alone is enough to send a shiver down the spine of every Commanders fan out there. For a player who's built his reputation on reliability, toughness, and sheer consistency, this season has become an unexpected test of patience and perseverance. Terry McLaurin, the heartbeat of the Washington offense, the leader in that locker room, the man who never stops grinding, might be watching more games from the sidelines than anyone ever imagined when the season began. You've got to remember who we're talking about here. Terry McLaurin isn't just another wide receiver. This is a guy who's been the face of professionalism in Washington since the moment he was drafted. He's the one who showed up week after week, no matter how bad things got, no matter how inconsistent the offense looked, no matter how chaotic the coaching carousel spun. Through quarterback changes, offensive coordinators coming and going, and seasons that swung from hope to heartbreak, McLaurin was always there. The dependable number 17, running crisp routes, catching everything thrown his way, and setting the tone with his work ethic. For 4 straight seasons, he didn't miss a single game. Not one. That kind of durability in the NFL, especially for a wide receiver who takes hits across the middle and battles through double coverage, is rare. It's part of what made him so respected not just in Washington, but across the league. But 2025? It's been different. It's been the kind of year that tests even the strongest. It all started with that nagging quad injury, one of those deceptively small-sounding issues that can derail a season before anyone realizes what's happening. McLaurin came into the year healthy, motivated, and as locked in as ever. Yet after a sluggish start in the first 2 games, everything seemed to take a turn in that third matchup. He looked like he was finally finding his rhythm again, sharper routes, quicker bursts, that trademark explosiveness after the catch, until it all stopped. A simple plant, a sudden pull, and just like that, McLaurin was down. The quad had betrayed him. At first, the team tried to stay optimistic. No surgery was needed. That alone felt like a small victory, a sign that maybe this would just be a temporary setback. The Commanders went week to week, hopeful that their captain would bounce back soon. Every week, fans waited for that update. McLaurin trending toward playing, McLaurin questionable, McLaurin game-time decision. And every week, disappointment followed. For straight weeks of reports saying the same thing, not this week. It became almost ritualistic. Hope, report, disappointment, repeat. When McLaurin finally got cleared to return, it felt like a moment of relief, a chance for Washington's offense to get back on track. And honestly, for a brief moment, it looked like everything might finally click. He came out with that same fire, moving the chains, battling through coverage, reminding everyone why he's one of the most underrated wideouts in football. You could feel the energy in the air. The team felt it. The fans felt it. Even the opposing defense looked uneasy. McLaurin was back, and that alone changes the way defenses approach Washington. But then, almost cruelly, it happened again. That same quad flared up, undoing weeks of recovery and pushing the team right back into uncertainty. Now, Schefter's latest report paints an ominous picture. Multiple weeks. 2 words that say everything and nothing at the same time. Does that mean 2 weeks? 4? Longer? Nobody seems to know for sure. And in the NFL, where momentum and timing mean everything, that uncertainty can be just as damaging as the injury itself. The Commanders can't plan their offense around a week-to-week question mark. They can't build rhythm when their top receiver might not be available until December, or worse. There's talk that if his recovery stalls, an IR stint isn't off the table. That would mean at least 4 games gone, and for a Washington team that's been clinging to playoff hopes, that's a gut punch. And yet, the show must go on. Deebo Samuel, who joined the Commanders to form what was supposed to be one of the most dynamic receiving duos in the NFC, now finds himself carrying the load. The good news is, Samuel's been hanging in there despite nursing his own heel injury, a nagging issue he's somehow been managing to play through. But the offense isn't just about one man. With Noah Brown on injured reserve, the Commanders have been forced to dig deep into their depth chart. Rookie fourth-rounder Jalen Lane has shown flashes of potential. Quick off the line, confident hands, and a fearless attitude that fans are starting to rally behind. Then there's Luke McCaffrey, the second-year wideout who's slowly earning more snaps, finding ways to make an impact whenever he's called upon. And don't forget Chris Moore, the veteran presence who brings a steady hand to an otherwise young group. Together, they've been trying to fill a McLaurin-sized hole that, truthfully, might be impossible to replace. But this story isn't just about injuries and stats. It's about the kind of player Terry McLaurin is, and what he means to this team. You can see it in the way his teammates talk about him. There's respect, sure, but there's something deeper, a kind of quiet reverence. He's not the loudest guy in the room, not the type to make headlines with trash talk or controversy. Instead, he leads by example. He's the guy who shows up early, stays late, and sets the standard. When you lose someone like that, it's not just about missing receptions or red zone targets. It's about missing a heartbeat. And for fans, it's an emotional roller coaster. Every Sunday, without McLaurin feels like something's missing. He's been the face of Washington's rebuild, the player you could always count on when things got messy. Even when the team struggled, McLaurin gave fans a reason to believe. Now, with him out, the Commanders are not just fighting opposing defenses, they're fighting to maintain their identity. There's a cruel irony in all this, too. The Commanders finally seemed to have some offensive rhythm early in the season, and the new system looked like it was starting to click. But without McLaurin consistently on the field, everything feels disjointed again. The chemistry between the quarterback and his receivers has been thrown off, timing routes look shaky, and the offense's explosive potential has dimmed. For a player known for his reliability, being forced to sit and watch has to be torture. You can almost picture him on the sidelines, helmet in hand, watching every play unfold, analyzing routes, coaching up the young guys, trying to contribute in any way he can while knowing he should be out there making those catches himself. What happens next? That's the question hanging over Washington like a storm cloud. If McLaurin's recovery goes well, maybe he's back by mid-season, giving the Commanders a late push when it matters most. But if this injury lingers, if that quad keeps acting up, the team may have to face the reality of finishing the year without their most dependable weapon. And that changes everything. The way defenses line up, the play calling, even the locker room energy. Still, there's something about Terry McLaurin that makes you believe he'll fight his way back. He's not built to sit still. He's the kind of competitor who channels frustration into fuel. And when he does return, whether it's in a few weeks or toward the end of the season, you can bet he'll come back swinging, hungrier than ever, ready to remind everyone why he's one of the best in the league. Because that's who Terry McLaurin is. He's not just a receiver. He's a leader, a fighter, a symbol of resilience for a franchise that's been through more than its share of adversity. So, as Washington fans hold their breath and wait for updates, the hope remains that this isn't the end of McLaurin's 2025 story, just a rough middle chapter. Maybe this is the moment that tests not just his strength, but the team's resolve. Maybe this is when the young guys rise, when the Commanders discover depth they didn't know they had. And maybe, just maybe, when McLaurin returns, the team he rejoins will be stronger for having endured this storm without him. Until then, all eyes are on the practice reports, the weekly injury updates, and those vague but all too familiar words, questionable, limited, week to week. For a player who's spent his career being the definition of dependable, that's the toughest label of all. But if history tells us anything about Terry McLaurin, it's that betting against him is never a smart move. Because sooner or later, number 17 will be back, and when he is, the league better be ready. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. NFL fans, hold on to your seats because things are getting seriously wild in the world of professional football. Word on the street, or rather, a bombshell audio that just surfaced, is causing more than a few heads to spin in the league. Apparently, Jerry Jones, the larger-than-life owner of the Dallas Cowboys, might have crossed a line that many are calling unthinkable, and it involves a very questionable interaction with a referee during the team's recent showdown against the Washington Commanders. The clip that's making the rounds is already sending shockwaves through locker rooms, offices, and living rooms across the country, and no one really knows yet what's going to happen next. Sources who've managed to listen to the leaked audio claim that Jones doesn't just express frustration. He apparently goes further, allegedly questioning calls, suggesting strategies, and maybe even trying to influence outcomes in ways that could make the league nervous. And it's not just the casual fan who's talking about this. Insiders in the NFL are whispering that the recording is very real and that it's raising eyebrows among officials who have always prided themselves on neutrality. The whole idea that one of the most powerful owners in football could be caught on tape in a situation that looks suspicious is exactly the kind of story that keeps people awake at night, scrolling through Twitter, wondering if this could actually lead to disciplinary action. What's particularly fascinating about this leak is how it came to light. Nobody is completely sure, and that's part of the frenzy. Some reports suggest it was recorded accidentally by a nearby device, while others claim it might have been deliberately captured by someone inside the Cowboys facility. The mystery of the origin adds another layer to the drama because, in today's NFL, secrecy is currency, and leaks of this nature rarely stay hidden for long. Meanwhile, the audio itself, snippets of which have been confirmed by multiple unnamed sources, purportedly reveals Jones speaking directly to a referee during a critical moment in the game. The words are said to be casual enough that they don't immediately scream corruption, but the tone, the insistence, and the context make it impossible for anyone paying attention to dismiss it entirely. Fans are going wild. Social media is exploding with speculation, hot takes, and outright theories about what this means for the Cowboys, the league, and even the integrity of the sport. Some are defending Jones, calling him a passionate owner who just wants his team to succeed, while others are seeing this as the beginning of a storm that could shake the NFL to its core. What makes it even more compelling is that the timing of the leak seems almost too perfect. With the Cowboys in the middle of a heated season and playoff hopes hanging in the balance, the revelation couldn't have dropped at a more tense moment. Every highlight reel, every post-game interview, every referee decision is now under microscopic scrutiny, and you can bet that NFL executives are watching the public reaction with a mix of panic and calculation. Rumors are already flying about possible consequences. Could this lead to fines for Jerry Jones? Suspension from league activities? Could the referee involved face an internal investigation? The league has always been sensitive to anything that might call its integrity into question, and if even part of this audio is legitimate, we might be staring at one of the biggest off-field controversies in decades. Some analysts are suggesting that the NFL could try to downplay the story, claiming it's taken out of context, but others are warning that in today's age of instant information, control over a narrative is almost impossible. The audio is out, and fans have already made their verdicts, with thousands of clips, commentary videos, and threads dissecting every second of what was supposedly said. Of course, there's also the question of motive. Why would Jerry Jones, someone who has always been in the public eye, risk this kind of exposure? Theories abound. Some insiders hint that it's classic Jones, a man so invested in winning that the line between advocacy and interference is blurry. Others suggest that maybe the recording doesn't tell the full story and context is everything. But in the world of sports rumors, the damage is often done before facts catch up, and right now, the narrative is electric. Even casual fans who don't follow every Cowboys game are clicking on clips and comments, trying to piece together what this could mean for the league at large. And let's not forget the referee. The unnamed official caught in this alleged exchange is now suddenly a figure of intense curiosity. Were they receptive? Did they push back? Or was it just a conversation that somehow became headline news? Observers are dissecting body language, tone, and timing, attempting to read between the lines, because the implications could extend beyond a single game. In a league obsessed with fairness, even a whiff of impropriety can spiral into national headlines, player debates, and official investigations that dominate the offseason as much as the season itself. Every team, every owner, every referee, and every fan is now on alert because nothing in professional football happens in a vacuum. What's clear is that this story isn't going away anytime soon. NFL executives, Cowboys staff, and Commanders personnel are all reportedly on high alert, and whispers suggest internal meetings and legal consultations are already underway. The league has faced scandals before, from player conduct issues to cheating allegations, but an owner-referee leak? That's a whole different animal. If there's one thing this saga has proven, it's that the combination of power, passion, and pressure in the NFL can produce moments that fans and media can't look away from. The rumor mill is spinning faster than any fast break, and whether this results in formal penalties or just a media storm, it's guaranteed to be remembered. So, as the NFL world digests this explosive audio, one thing is certain: questions about integrity, influence, and accountability are louder than ever. Fans, commentators, and analysts are locked in debate, replaying snippets and speculating on what might happen next. Every angle is being explored, every motive questioned, and every potential fallout analyzed. And in the middle of it all is Jerry Jones, a man whose larger-than-life persona has always been part of football folklore, now facing a storm that could redefine his legacy and, potentially, the narrative of the entire league. For those who thought off-field drama couldn't compete with the action on Sundays, this story is proving them spectacularly wrong. The NFL has always been a league of high stakes, big personalities, and moments that capture the public imagination, but this latest revelation might just take the crown. Whether it's a cautionary tale about power, a warning about secrecy, or simply the newest chapter in the long saga of Jerry Jones' career, one thing is clear: the conversation isn't over. Fans will talk about it at tailgates, sports bars, and on social media. Analysts will debate it on television and in podcasts. And the league will, quietly or not, have to decide how, or if, to respond to a story that, for now, is part rumor, part audio leak, and entirely captivating. The Dallas Cowboys versus Washington Commanders matchup may have ended on the scoreboard, but the real game, the one of whispers, leaks, and speculation, is just getting started, and everyone in the NFL universe is watching to see who comes out on top. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.